Welcome to A Woman's Brew, where women talk about beer. In today's episode, we kick off Women's History Month with Sammi from US-based First Sip Brew Box. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori.
Hello, hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us. All right, love it. Today we've got the lovely Sammi from First Sip Box. Hello and welcome to the podcast, Sammi.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, good. How are you? It's early. It's early for you.
It's early.
People haven't realised. If people haven't realised you're not here in the UK with us.
Slight difference in time.
This is bright out.
Yeah,
and it's not bright out here. So.
Sammi, would you like to tell us where you're from and why you might be here today?
Yeah, so I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, so all the way across the pond to the US. And we're here just to kind of talk a little bit about our business, a little bit of beer, a little bit of whatever else you ladies want to talk about. So, yeah.
Amazing. And so what is your business?
Yeah, so I own First Sip Brew Box. My husband and I own it together. We've been in business since 2016. We are a craft beer subscription box company based here in the US. We ship out cool merchandise from breweries from all over the world straight to your door. And we also partner with small businesses that make things out of beer. So like barbecue sauce, hot sauce, coffees with malts and hops, all kinds of cool stuff sent straight to your house. So that's kind of the gist of what we do. In 2021, we also launched another vertical of our business called First Sip Studios, where we do photography and video production for other small businesses around the area. Hopefully going to be taking that across the country and globally as well, but got to start in PA first. So
amazing.
I didn't even know there was like coffee made with hops and stuff. So that's like really, I love coffee. I love beer. So that when you said that, I was like, oh, that's something I don't think I've heard of, people making other stuff with beer and hops and stuff like that, but never coffee. That's amazing.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting because I just find all of these products all over the place. And the coffee place that we found is out in I think I want to say Colorado Springs. So out in Colorado. And I don't drink coffee, but my husband loves it. And you can get the notes of all the maltiness and certain flavors and stuff. He says, he said he loves it.
Wow.
I've got an office, like my headquarters for the company I work for is based in Colorado. Now I've got to be like, oh guys, I think we need to like go out to headquarters, but really it's just going to be for the beer and the beer coffee. I think like
that's
amazing.
You should just go there in general for just the beer.
Right, that just sounds. I mean, that's a given, I think.
So it sounds like maybe, well, obviously when you're putting these boxes together that you don't just stick to Pennsylvania. Do you go all over the US or does it go into places outside the US or?
Yeah, so we work with whoever wants to work with us. So if you're a brewery and you're listening, hey. So we've worked with small breweries in Pittsburgh itself. We've worked with big breweries like Stone Brewing in New Belgium before. We actually just did our first worldwide campaign with Quasar Craft Brewery out in Rwanda, Africa. So that was this is our first like out of the US brewery that we're working with, and super thrilled to be working with them. Jesse is amazing.
They're so amazing.
So we work with big and small. It just doesn't matter. We're a marketing company, and breweries need to market. So we're here for you, and we're a way to get your story and your brand out to customers all over the world. We ship to 7 different countries right now. Hopefully a little more because of the Quasar campaign. So
So just to clarify, because I know this is going to be weird for UK people, there's no beer in the box, is there? Because it's difficult to ship that around the US.
Yeah, so that's what makes us unique is we don't ship alcohol in itself. We ship products and we do collaborations and work with artists to create cool designs for breweries and ship that out. PA laws when we first started were a little like pilgrimage. And so they were starting to get used to the whole shipping thing, but they wanted us to own a distributor or own a restaurant. And we were like, no, that costs a lot of money and we don't have that. So, because it was important to us to not have investors or anything. So we were like, we don't have, you know, $200, $300, $400,000 just to buy a distributor just so we could ship beer.
Right.
So that's how we kind of pivoted to the way of what we do now, which doesn't limit us. You can be any age and order from us. You can be anywhere in the world and order from us, because there's no laws. We don't ship anything with actual alcohol.
Amazing. How did you come up with the idea for First Sip boxes?
So we were on a vacation in, I think it was like 2015 down in North Carolina. The small little town is called Bryson City. It's probably like an hour outside of Asheville in like the mountains. And everything there closed by like 7 p.m. except for the brewery. And so every night we were at the brewery and it was just cool. They had bands, they had good food, you know, the beer was good. They had dogs running around, kids, like all kinds of stuff. And we just fell in love with the atmosphere. And we drank beer before and stuff, but this was like, this brewery specifically was just eye-opening for us. And so we decided, you know, hey, we wanted to open a brewery. Again, hundreds of thousands of dollars that we didn't have. So we're like, you know, the shipping beer thing didn't happen. So we pivoted this way. But my husband and I argue all the time about who came up with the name of First Sip. I will say that I did, and he will disagree, but it was definitely me. But because you like something from the first sip. So, you know, our goal is to bring anyone an experience. So, you know, from the first sip of anything you try, from anything you do, like, you know, you like it after the first of something. And so that's how First Sip was born.
Amazing. That's a really great name. I love that.
What is this? You mentioned that you had obviously, like, you were drinking beer before, but that's the one that really sort of made you have that connection, that you really sort of wanted to get into this area of the market. What beers were you guys drinking before? Like, was there a particular brewery or a particular beer that made you, like, sort of first start you on the path, that made you look and say, oh, there's a brewery that's open, let's go check that out? Or was it just totally just kind of like no real preference until you found that this was the only place that was open, and then you were like, amazing?
So we'd been into beers, and we would drink things like, you know, lighter beers like wheat beers, pilsners, lagers, those types of things. But because, you know, that was the only place that was open at that time in that area past a certain time, you know, we were like, okay, we'll try it out. And they served, I can remember specifically that they had this chocolate cherry stout, because we took a bottle or two home with us, and I saved the label, so it's somewhere in this office. But it was, and I'm not a big cherry fan, but it was phenomenal. Like, it was probably one of the best dark beers I've ever had. And so that kind of just exploded for us. And when we got back home, Pittsburgh at that time was, now breweries were popping up. I mean, I don't know how much you know about US beer, but there's about 8,000 breweries in the US alone. And just in Western PA, on our side of the state, there's at least 50 or 60 breweries. And where we live, we could probably get to about 20 or 30 of them pretty easily. So we were just, and they were popping up left and right, and we were just hitting them all up and figuring out, you know, my husband and I are like dark beer, so we're big into porters and stouts. I'm also a Belgian girl, so I drink a lot of Belgians. However, and everyone in Pittsburgh knows this probably because of everything I say, is we don't make enough Belgians in Pittsburgh. So there was not many of those around. Everyone's on the IPA and the hazy train right now still.
Yeah, so. I feel
Waiting for that to pass. I think lagers are slowly starting to come back, and a lot of the brewers are finally like, we're making what we want to drink. But yeah, I think I answered your question.
Yeah, no, you definitely did. No, it definitely makes sense. But yeah, that's really interesting, because I feel like even where we are, and we're like obviously a lot closer to like where the Belgian beers come from. It even feels like we're only just kind of getting to a point where, Joe, disagree with me if you want, but I feel like only even in like the last maybe like year or so, as I've seen like more UK breweries making those here, like in the UK. Mm-hmm. So I imagine that it's going to take like quite a while for it to start making its way of like being the more of the trend in the US.
Yeah.
Like I imagine that doesn't have that, because I think maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like maybe we're like, oh yeah, we can just go on a holiday over there, and oh, we love this beer and we love drinking this, let's take that back and make that. Whereas maybe like there's some parts of the US that's just not the standard holiday for them, the standard vacation for them to go in and have that and be like, I love that, I'm gonna go home and make that. So yeah, that's an interesting observation.
Well, it's nice though, because there are specific breweries over here that specialize in a certain type. So like there's a brewery in Portland, Maine that I like. It's called Oxbow Brewing. And they specialize in saisons, and they do some really cool, funky stuff. I think there's another brewery in I want to say Boston. I forget what it's called, but I think they do a lot of Belgians, which was nice. So I mean, specific breweries do specific things, and then there's, you know, you get other breweries who just dabble in a little bit of everything, but not enough of what I like. Not locally. I was gonna say I can say just outside of Boston there's a brewery called Bone Up Brewery, and they do some really nice ones. So definitely recommend. Awesome. I definitely shout out to Bone Up Brewery. Yeah, they make amazing beer, and I bought one of their flannels, and it's so comfy, and it has super deep pockets, and I was like, it's a flannel with pockets. This is my favorite. Oh yeah, they had this chocolate orange stout there. Ooh. And then they gave you a piece of like orange chocolate candy to have with it when we visited, and it was really good. I have one of their glasses at home. I had to have it.
Yeah,
I don't know if I brought
a bar glass.
I might have done, but I definitely got the jumper, because the flannel, because I was like, I'm not leaving without this. This is definitely coming home with me.
So we've noticed that there's like different levels of box that are available. Can you talk us through the different boxes?
So we have our basic tier, which is our brewmaster tier. So that gets you just the swag from the brewery, whether it be the t-shirt, a hat, pint glass, stickers, koozies, that kind of stuff. From there, it jumps up to our enthusiast box, which is our middle tier. And so you get all of that stuff from the first one, and plus you'll get a little bit of products that are made out of beer, whether it be a candle or soap or something like that. And then our connoisseur box, which is our highest tier and a pain to close all the time and very heavy most times, it's just it's everything from the, you know, the enthusiast tier, plus you get a couple more things, and most of the time they're like the full size of the items. Okay. So if you could fit it into a 10 by 8 by 4, I'm putting it in there, and it's going to close.
It just makes you think, what's the most unique thing that you think that you've ever put into a box before that you can remember? Because like to me, you said the coffee, I was like, what? Like,
yeah. I mean, if you're a coffee drinker, I mean, I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what are some recent things we've done. So we have this buffalo. I don't know if you like hot sauce, but we have a buffalo sauce, an IPA buffalo sauce. But like the bottle is like, it's like a big bottle.
Yeah.
It's really good too. Buffalo chicken dip, phenomenal.
Makes me jealous.
So honestly, one of the coolest things right now is, so for the Quasar boxes that we're doing, that you could still order online in our shop. We have a friend of ours who owns a barbecue sauce and dry rub company here in Pittsburgh, and he got a hold of some sorghum ingredients and made a dry rub out of using sorghum and I don't know what else, I think salts and malts and stuff like that to make a dry rub seasoning. So those are going into the higher level of the Quasar boxes, which I think is pretty cool and unique. We've got so many cool things. I mean, we get bread mixes, candles, these regrained puffs. So there's a company, I'm gonna say, they might yell at me, in Washington State, but they've used like spent grains from breweries and make like these regrained treats like puffs and granola bars. Those are pretty good.
Oh wow.
We get all kinds of, we have a pretzel company in Florida that we use. Big shout out to Andy from Boardwalk Treats, because we've been using him for since we started. He's phenomenal and his products are phenomenal. And because of like what we do, he was able to get into other breweries across the country because people were seeing that what he does through our boxes. And so then they were like, hey, how do we get in touch with this guy? We want his stuff in our box, like in our brewery. So, I mean, that's just the power of like what we want to do is we want other people to know about these brands and these businesses and tell their stories and share it with the world. So yeah.
That's pretty amazing because it's stuff that like I don't know what I thought you were gonna say, but that is like I think okay, like candles not that like crazy, but like I would have never thought like dry rub for barbecue and stuff like that. Like, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like that is pretty.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty unique and interesting and pretty cool, yeah. And something that I think if I was opening up a subscription box like that, I wouldn't have ever expected. Maybe if you're a person that's like subscribing sort of regularly, you've come to expect not to have expectations in that situation. But if I was a first time person, I was opening up a box and I was like, I don't know what to expect, you know, what's going to happen here. Like I definitely would have never expected like dry rub for smoking meat and stuff. That's amazing. So
I mean, it really is a cool thing. I mean, you're learning about all these businesses and then you get to go and then find their websites in order, like see other stuff. So like the barbecue and dry rub company, like because of us, he's also created his own beer sauce brand. Like, so he's made like 4 other, barbecue sauces using beer from other breweries and they're successful, and we've been able to send them out to customers everywhere. So they learn about them. And it's pretty cool stuff. And we do try to sample everything. So we're not going to put anything bad in the.
You have to do the samples, don't you?
Yeah,
you can't quality control. You can't just let something go out without a bit of quality control.
If I really like it, I might be sneaking another one in. Like, oh, I have to have 2 for myself.
Are you like, oh, this is such a pain. I guess I'm gonna have to try some more.
That's what we do when we get like snacks, like the pretzels and stuff. We were like, oh man, I dropped the bag on the ground.
Guess it's damaged.
That one can't go out.
That is speaking of, I know this is sort of like on a tangent, sort of slightly far off, but like what would you say now you're after having sampled all these different, snack companies and stuff like that? Like what are your say top 3 beer snacks? Like do you have top 3 go-to beer snacks?
So I will say that the pretzels, he does like 4 or 5 different flavors. He has a new one coming out that I'm intrigued by. I don't think I'm allowed to say what it is yet, but he has a beer cheese one that is phenomenal. We snack on it all the time here. So that is definitely one. Honestly, my go-to drinking snacks are not like beer themed. I mean, they're themed.
That's
like they're
fine.
Not, like,
that's
they're
fine.
Not products we sell.
No, that's fine.
I'm a pretzel person in general. So pretzels and
I do love a good pretzel.
Yeah, and popcorn. I like caramel popcorn.
Yeah.
I love caramel. So if there's a company out there listening, then you make caramel beer flavored popcorn. That would be phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
It's a good idea as well. So if you're a person that wants to make a business and you don't currently make it, but you want to learn how to make it, do it.
There is the time.
You have a reason now.
So which breweries have you partnered with so far?
Oh man. So from big to small, when we first started out, we partnered with Stone Brewing our very first month of being in business. Since then our models kind of shifted and stuff, but we partnered with Stone, we've partnered with New Belgium, Shipyard Brewing in Maine. Maine, Brewing in Maine. So those were some of the Avery Brewing, those were some of the bigger ones we've hit. And then we've hit a lot of local ones in Pittsburgh, Allegheny City, Abjuration Brewing, 412 Brewery. We've hit a lot. I'm trying to think of, I have like a shirt somewhere that has like a list of, we did like a concert shirt last year for our 5-year anniversary of all the breweries we partnered with.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm gutted that I'm really gutted that I didn't wear my Shipyard jumper. I should have thought ahead and put my Shipyard jumper on.
I love Shipyard. They're cool people. I got I like their pumpkin
head.
Pumpkin.
Yeah,
head.
thank you.
Yeah,
but I have a tank top, a men's tank top of it, and I wear that thing like all the time.
I've like it's quite a heavy hoodie, and it's got the like lacing on the front. Like you'd have, the only way I can describe it is like a hockey jersey. It's laced up in the front, and I got one of those when I went there, and I remember sampling off the tap. They didn't do tours because they're very they do tours, but it's very specific time slots that they do the tours, and they only do like a handful a day on certain days, and if you've missed it or they don't have enough people interested, they just don't do it that day.
Yep.
Yeah, it's more to demand and like who's there sort of thing. But they were like, look, we can't do the tour, but we can help you like sample some of the beers. And I sampled their barrel aged, it was a whiskey, I think a whiskey barrel aged version of the Pumpkinhead. It's a few years ago now, and this was pre-pandemic when I could actually go and see my family with regularity, and it was like, I was upset that I didn't buy some to take home with me, because then the day before we were due to fly out, I was running around like a crazy person calling all the local liquor stores like, do you have this? And they're like, no, we don't have it, but you might want to try this one, and that's up in New Hampshire. And I was like, I can't drive 2 hours, and my flight is in like 5 hours. I can't go and drive 2 hours just to get this pumpkin beer.
Oh,
but yeah
it's a cool place. I'm trying to think of who else. So we partnered with Strangeways Brewing. They're out in Richmond, Virginia. They're really cool. They have like this cinematic like Planet of the Apes feel to them. Okay. So the brewery itself is awesome. The beer is great. We have a buddy of ours who used to go down all the time for work, and he would just bring us back some bottles and stuff. But they did when we were there, they did like a ghost pepper sour. I mean, this was like 4 years ago, maybe 5 now, but yeah, they did a ghost pepper sour. That was awesome. I like took a whole growler of it to the beach with me. I was like, oh, I need this all the time.
It's an interesting combination. Was it like, did you actually get the heat in there?
You did in the back end. You got
okay.
Yeah, it was good. We're big fans of pepper beers too. So anything that has like spice to it.
That's how I prefer it, is when it's in the back. When the heat is in the right. When the heat's in the right place and comes about at the right time and is that right level, then it's not just like my mouth is on fire. Like it has to come in the right way.
I will say it wasn't very pleasant when you're sitting on a beach in like 90-degree weather, you know.
Bold move. That definitely bold move.
Yeah. It was so good. It was so good.
So First Sip Box is Black owned, woman owned, and veteran owned. How do you think this influences your business?
That's a good question. I mean, those are 3 huge pillars of our business. I mean, that's represents who we are. So my husband served in the military for 8 years, and he is also African American. And then I'm the woman. But we like to do a lot of our business of working with other Black-owned businesses, other veteran-owned companies, you know, other woman-owned businesses and companies, and just people in general. We're huge on networking and, you know, people first aspect. So that just makes a huge thing for us. We did the Blackest Beautiful campaign when that was happening. We did it twice actually. We loved it. We've currently just did. So in Pittsburgh, my husband's part of the Pittsburgh Brewery Diversity Council here that just started like a year ago, maybe a little longer than a year ago. And before all the stuff that was happening with the women in the beer industry, we were launching a She Knows Beer collaboration, highlighting women in the beer industry. And Amazing. The first one that we did was the same time that all the stuff had hit. So it really like hit home with us. So my husband and I started doing some documentary stuff with it. He just finished up a little video that we put in for Craft Beer Marketing Awards on women in the beer industry. And then we do a lot of work with veteran-owned nonprofits. Last year, we did a collaboration with Folds of Honor here in Western PA and raised money for them, doing a beer collaboration with Stonebridge Brewing out in Johnstown, PA, which was actually where my husband was stationed. His unit was stationed most of the time. And we are also in November launching the first ever veterans-owned beer fest here in Pittsburgh. I think it's the first ever in the country, but definitely the first ever in PA. So we're doing that. So we're going to be working with a lot of veteran-owned breweries, a lot of veteran-owned nonprofits and businesses to make a really cool events where we have some connections in the military, so we're gonna get some like V's and all kinds of like some military vehicles to come, and it's gonna be a good time. So pretty excited about that too. So I mean, those three things are us. Like it's just who we are as people, and we want to represent it as best as we can, and represent others as best as we can with them too. So.
Festival sounds like it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
And I still have
flights now.
Yeah, I still, going back to the Blackest Beautiful, I still have like some cans that I'd saved like from when I managed to get them as well. And like I really wish it was something that they do like every year. Like I really wish the breweries would do the fundraising every year and make the beer every year. Do they do that over there? They don't do it over here.
So the guy who owns Weather Souls Brewing, who started it, Marcus, there's a lot of breweries that are still doing it. It's, I think, still donating profits. I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, it was so big that Walmart's selling his beer now. He's gotten into there's a library. He just announced it, and I wish.
Yes, I saw that the other day.
Yeah.
It was the Martin Luther King Jr. Library in DC, and a Black is Beautiful can has been added into the Black History Wall, I believe it is. So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool,
yeah. It's definitely a huge deal. I mean, Marcus has done a phenomenal job with all of the stuff that he's been doing, just, in the industry and, supporting Black culture and everything. I mean, props to him. I mean, that's huge.
I was gonna say, to call it a bit like, because I was gonna go, oh yeah, like you said, like that's a big deal, and then I was like, that's an understatement, isn't it? That's when you changed and said a huge deal. I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like a big deal is almost like an understatement. That is such a huge accomplishment to get something in there. So yeah,
it's like the things that you do are like the values that we have for this podcast. We want to use our platform to raise those people's voices where we can. So it's really, really nice to be chatting to someone who's on a similar wavelength to us.
Good. Yeah, we're all about making a difference. And, I mean, that's part of the reason why we started our First Sip Studios, was because we were doing all this storytelling and content creating for ourselves, that like other people were like, hey, like, can you do this for us? And at first we were like, no, like why are we doing this for you? And then like something like clicked, and we were like, oh, like this is a thing. Like, so in 2020 we won. Yeah. So in 2020 we actually won a marketing award, our first marketing award in storytelling. So that's kind of when like things like started like clicking for us. So then 2021, when we finally got our own like studio and office space, we were like, okay, we can make this like a thing. And to be honest, it's taken off. Like the studio side of our business and the storytelling and sharing like other businesses, who they are and where they're from and where they're going. I mean, I just can't even put it into words. It's been a blast, and it's taking off, and I love everything about it.
Pandemic aside, have you been able to do like a lot of traveling to see these places and people you're working with firsthand, or is it more difficult because of pandemic stuff to be able to travel and see people and network in the face-to-face way?
So traveling is a very touchy subject for me because I haven't done enough of it.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah. So, one, my husband hates to fly, so
I hate flying as well. Anywhere
we go, he is like, let's just drive there, and I'm like, well, you can't drive to Africa. But anyway.
That would be me. If I could drive to see my family in the US, even if it took twice as long, I would do it every time because I hate flying.
So on the studio side of things, a lot of the places and the companies that we work with are right now in Western PA, so they're easy to get to. They come see us, we go see them. That's pretty simple. On the brew box side of things, pre-pandemic, yes, we were going to a lot of places as long as we could. And then I also coach travel basketball, so my season is starting next week and it goes to the end of July. So the 3 or 4 cities we'll hit. We'll also make that like a beer thing too. Like, hey, we want to work with you. We reach out like a month or 2 beforehand saying we're coming in, like, let's meet, let's chat, let's, how can we get you featured in a box type thing. So we do some of that. And now that things are kind of like easing up just a little bit, we're hoping to get a little more traveling in. We're working with Jesse from Rwanda to do some studio production out in Africa. So I'm hoping that can happen. Cross your fingers for 2023.
Wow.
So, but yeah, so I mean, we also just hired a team, so we finally have part-time employees. So that can't travel as much right now as they're like ramping up and doing their things, and we have to be here to support them until they're, able to fly on their own type of thing. So, but yes, there's a lot more traveling in the works. That is my dream, is to have everybody who works with us and for us to just do their thing while I go travel.
Because I mean, I feel like it's a pretty amazing excuse, like I put that in quotes, a pretty amazing excuse, because you are working, you are doing business, but it's like such a good reason to be like, you know what, I've never been here, and I'm not sure that I would have normally like seen this area if it wasn't for this amazing brewery or this amazing company or something. And it's like you're going and you're getting to meet interesting and amazing people in a place that you might not have gone had it not been for this reason, quote unquote, for travel. And then you just get all that experience and you get the story to tell of it afterwards. So I'm so jealous. I want to do that.
You just meet so many cool people. So in April I'll be in Indianapolis for a basketball tournament, and we'll make it a deal to go to at least 2 breweries the weekend we're there. One, it's a perk because it's a tax write-off. As long as we have a drink and we have to set one meeting, we're good.
Amazing.
Just good planning.
But just to meet new people. I mean, that's what Dennis and I love the most, is just meeting new people and networking and creating partnerships that last hopefully a very long time. I mean, that's what we love to do. And especially him, he could talk forever.
I feel like my husband needs to take tips from that, because like even just when I'm planning holidays, and I was like he likes traveling as well, so it's like we both like traveling, that's fine, but then I'll be like, oh, I found this brewery that we can go to, and then it's almost like I can just hear his eyes rolling, like I don't even need to be looking at him, I just know that he's rolling eyes at me because I mentioned like we could go see this brewery, and he's just like, he likes beer, he likes craft beer, but he's just like, everything has to be a beer with you, isn't it? And I'm that's
me.
I just want to drink good stuff.
that is actually me. So my husband is like the other way. He's like, oh, this brewery, we're gonna go. And I'm like, where's the beach? I just want to relax. I need a bubble bath. Like, can we just go check out this cool restaurant? And he's like, beer. And I'm like, I need a break.
I'm like, beer first, then the good food. They're close, but beer takes the slight edge. And then it's like you go the historic and the cultural stuff.
Oh yeah, that's usually like at the bottom.
I was just like, no more beer things, please. So I travel with Joe now.
Yes, we just go traveling and we leave our husbands at home.
I need to find me one of those travel buddies.
If you come over this way, we'll join you.
It's on our UK's on our agenda.
You can't drive there, unfortunately.
No, you can't drive.
No, we cannot.
You could take a boat.
Good.
Take a bit longer.
I will fly. I'll get there. I'll have all this extra time with you ladies, and he'll still figure out how to get there. That's not flying.
We haven't quite worked out the tunnel under that ocean.
We need to.
We just did it to France.
I am pro tunnel under, because I hate flying as well, but I just do it.
I think that need to be a pretty high speed train to get you across there.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were talking about your team. Can you tell us a little bit about Big Dankie? I'm excited.
Oh man, Big Dankie. So Big Dankie came out when COVID happened. So COVID obviously was not good for a lot of people, but COVID was fantastic for us. So we're an online business. So I mean, online sales.
When you can't go out and you need things coming to you.
Yeah.
Right. So it was really good for us. But we had all of when did COVID happen? It's been I feel like it's been 10 years. 2020?
Yes.
Yeah. So we had all of exactly. So we had all of 2020 planned with what brewery we were featuring, everything. And then COVID hit and everything was shot because breweries didn't have marketing budgets. They had to let people go. They had to close for, how many months and couldn't let people in, So we had to pivot and change up our whole thing. So we did a couple campaigns of, standing strong for breweries. And so we were raising money to help any like brewery employees, to give them gift cards for like groceries and gas and stuff like that. So we were doing those campaigns. And then Big Dankie kind of just arrived. he came all out with his, we have him hanging on the wall over there, but he's got his beard, it's supposed to be my husband, Big Dankie, because he's got the big beard and holding the beer and everything. So he came about and people just loved him. So in July, when we were doing our veterans collab, Big Dankie shaved, got a mustache, put on a uniform, and became General Dankie for July.
Nice.
I love that. So, General Dankie.
So because you can't have a beard in the military, but you were allowed a mustache. So he shaved, got a little proper. And then he got a little cold, because it does get cold here in Pittsburgh and it snows randomly. Sometimes a lot of snow, sometimes a little bit. So the wintertime, he turned into Winter Dankie and had on a scarf and a hat. And it's just been fun. We've grown to love Big Dankie. We actually have some pint glasses that should be delivered today with Big Dankie on them. And it's about telling a story, and it's a character, and kind of just brought him to life. And our customers who have been with us for a very long time, they love him. So we're just going to keep him going. He has a dinosaur friend called what we call him, Dankosaurus. He's a Stegosaurus, and his little spikes are all hops.
Nice.
So we're just gonna keep making characters and going with it. But Big Dankie he's our guy. He's on our front windows at our office. Him and General Dankie each have their own spot in the front window.
Amazing.
I love that so much. Yeah. I just love that. He's like, then we shaved him, and then he's General Dankie, and now he's Winter Dankie.
Who knows what he'll be this summer? I don't know. I'm trying to get a basketball Dankie just because it's part of me. So we'll see what happens.
You need a Dankie for every month.
He might need a wife or a girlfriend. Who knows? There might be a Mrs. Dankie in the future.
No Dankie?
Actually, no little Dankies yet, but
no, I love that. I think that's amazing. But I also hear that there's a dog helper. I love dogs.
I'm not sure how much of the helping part, but yes, she's currently sleeping on the couch. Her name's Porter.
Amazing.
Every time I say her name, she looks. So she's
that even if you, I find with my dog, even if you say a nickname or you just refer to her as her, and she'll be like, called, and then you're like,
about me.
How do you know I'm talking about you?
She's actually snoring right now, so she's out. But so we have a 4-year-old beagle. We named her Porter after one of her favorite beer styles. She is our office dog. She goes home with us, comes here. She loves coming to work. Oh my goodness. So our third day of being in this building, so the building we're in used to be an old pet shop. And so when we got permission to be like, hey, you can bring your dog in, or, that's fine. You can, we're like, sweet, cool. Because we're not going to be open to the public. We're just office space and fulfillment space. So we can bring her every day and not worry about her running out the door. So this lady in the neighborhood's knocking on the door. Dennis is talking to her, and she's like, this used to be a pet shop. Is this going to be a pet shop again? And we're like, no, we're a marketing company. Porter just bolts out the door.
Oh, no.
And mind you, we're on a super busy street, the main business district of this part of the the borough. And so all you see is the dog running down the street, and Dennis is running after her, and the lady's looking at me like, you're not gonna be a pet store? And I was like, I'm so sorry, it's just our dog.
That's just our one.
Idea that this lady's just stood there so no to the pet store,
can't come get my kitty litter or anything. I'm like, no, sorry, not a pet store. I promise you, just a dog. But she comes, she lays around all day. She greets everybody who comes in. Our team, we have 4 awesome college students that work for us, and that she just loves them. She goes around, gets her daily pets every hour. She goes around literally to each one and just waits for the pets, waits for a treat, and then goes back to bed.
She's a good girl. She's obviously a good girl.
She's good. She's spoiled.
She's spoiled because she's a good girl. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like every business.
She's like pretending to listen right now, but like
right.
trying not to listen. Like, Mom, you're talking about me.
I was say, does your dog do what my dog does? Is like when she's like a child in the way of like when everyone's hanging out at night and she's a bit tired, but she's just like, I want to take a nap, but also I want to be a part of things. And you just see her eyes going like slowly closing, and then she'll go, no. And then she'll look at you, and then she'll go.
All the time. Look, my dog won't even get up in the morning. So I get up, I have my routine. I get up, I go work out, my husband's still asleep, Porter's still asleep. I come home, dog's still asleep. Like she doesn't even come downstairs. She's under the blankets on my side of the bed with her head on my pillow. Like this is what my dog does every morning. And then she's like, oh, is it time for breakfast now? I guess I will get up.
I guess I shall eat.
Every morning. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I always say if I could trade lives with my dog, I definitely would. All she does is sleep all day.
All day.
Sleep,
snacks, sleep, cuddles. Like it's a life. It's a good life.
It's a really good life.
I'm waiting for the door to open behind you because you can hear that we're talking about her.
Yeah, she's probably getting irate at the moment because she's like, I'm not in there with you. What are you doing? She was on my desk all day today. And I was like, do you want to move? And she was like, no, I don't think so, actually.
What kind of dog do you have?
She's a Pomeranian Husky. She's a Pomsky.
Cute.
So she's only really like, she looks like a fox. Everyone thinks she's a fox. We've been in the woods before.
Super fluffy.
Yeah, she's very fluffy, but she's a very foxy face to her. And we've been in the woods, and I remember she was off lead and she was running like around, came out of a bush. We called her, she came out of a bush, and some kid went, Mommy, it's a fox, and like literally had a meltdown because he thought that it was a fox. We're like, it's just a dog.
She's not the right colour for a fox. She's too light.
No, well, depends on the fox colour because she is getting a bit like redder? Well, I don't know, sometimes depends on the time of year, but normally when I talk about her or I'm recording and specifically when that door is shut so she can't come in, that's when she wants to come in.
Obviously.
When the door's open, she's like, nah, I'm good.
Porter just moved just so she could put her head on I wish I could show you her, but so she could put her head on the edge of the couch and be like, is it me? Are you talking about me?
You're talking about me?
I love that. Yeah, so you mentioned away from dogs now, because I could literally talk about dogs all night, and I'm not going to do that. I've done this to too many people. I'm not going to do it to you as well. So yeah, you mentioned about partnering with Quasar. Like, how did that connection actually come about? Did you reach out to them first? Did they reach out to you?
So actually, we were, I want to say like 2018-ish. We were part of a cohort space in Pittsburgh with another startup company called Shine Registry. So they work with women-owned businesses across the world. And Quasar was doing a webinar with Shine Registry. And the lady who owns that company was like talking to Dennis at the cohort space, like, hey, like we got this brewery on board. Like, can you help? Like, you're in the beer industry. Can you help promote it? All this stuff. So yeah, sure. Absolutely. Like, this sounds cool. So we like briefly got to meet with Jessie and stuff like years ago. And she remembered us and remembered what we did. And so last year she was just like, hey, so can you be like the fulfillment space, like partners for us for this project? And then
amazing.
We were like, absolutely. This is great, because we were trying to figure out ways to get more into other countries and to work with, breweries across the world. So it just happened to be a perfect fit. So Jessie got to listen to late night chats and early morning calls for me for like months. So I mean, that's kind of how that happens. I mean, in a lot of places, you can't get the stuff that we do because it would take forever to get to Africa if they were to do all that stuff. So why not use us to be that piece? And this goes for any like brewery across the world. Like, we're here, like we can ship anywhere. So yeah, Jessie's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's how I first heard of Quasar, was that webinar.
The Shine,
yeah. And I've been following them ever since. And I've been following Apue from, she's now at Tolakazi. I've been following both of them since that webinar.
That's awesome. Oh, I'm glad you were on.
Yeah. And then
The sad
that's
part
how
is we actually didn't get to be on the webinar because there was only so many people who could go on it.
Yeah.
And we signed on like a minute too late.
Oh.
And we were like, oh, they tapped out.
Oh no.
I mean, we got to listen to it later, but
Yeah.
I was going to say that's how I think. I don't want to speak for you as well, Joe. I think that's how we kind of sort of first heard about you guys as well. Was through the Quasar, because we were looking at that campaign and we were like, oh, what can we do to support? How can we support? We were looking at all the different tier levels and like who was, how can we get merch? How can we do this? How can we do that sort of thing? There was so many interesting like layers to that campaign they did as well, because it was like you could go to Africa and like have a brew day with them and then they'll take you on safari and all this. And I was like, you could check, it's probably saying that's more something like corporate level for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
But I was like, that is amazing. I was like, if I had the money, I would definitely be doing that.
Right.
That sounded like an incredible experience.
So good.
You get beer, it's beer based, and you get to go on safari. That's so cool.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys like talk to Jessie and how well you know Jessie, but I'm sure she would let you stay at her house if you decide to go. So
I just take just a spur of the moment flight to Africa.
To Rwanda.
Just happened to be coming over there.
Yeah.
No, amazing.
We keep telling her that. I'm like, one day you're just going to see Dennis and I at your house.
Like,
You ready?
The spaces they had listed as well were just like the most beautiful in the photos. They were just the most beautiful looking spaces as well. And I was just like, oh,
yeah.
I'm
And
so
I love-
envious. Whoever it is that buys that.
We just had a meeting with her. Was it yesterday? I think it was. I don't know. Today's Monday, right?
Yeah.
Today's Monday.
I don't know.
Friday.
I did question that this
doesn't know
morning as
any
well. I
day
was
of the
like,
week anymore.
Friday.
I don't know what day it is.
We had a meeting with her Friday. I mean, she was worried that like they would, be doing stuff and getting like the demand and not getting enough demand. She was like, we can't keep up. The demand for their beer is like phenomenal.
Yes.
So I mean, they're doing really well. And I'm so happy and so excited for them. Like I'm just so thrilled for them because they're doing great things, and she's got some great ideas coming up. Like she can share that with you guys, but she's got some awesome stuff happening and going on, and just the fact that they can't keep up with the demand is like
That's amazing.
Phenomenal.
That's so good.
It's a good thing.
So I can't wait for Echo to brew, because Echo is the one that's brewing it here in the UK, and like Echo are super. Like both of them are so nice. I can't wait to see, and they put out amazing beers as well. So I'm just like, I can't wait for them to brew that beer.
Yeah.
Who owns Echo?
It's Helena and Anthony.
Anthony, yes. Yeah, we had a phone call with them a couple months ago. We're trying to work with them.
Yes.
And then we're trying to work with 254 in Africa. 254 Brewing in Africa. So we're trying to get them. So if you see them, like, hey, we talked with First Sip Brew Box.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, Helena. We did a podcast with Helena. Like she is.
Okay.
So
we haven't met her. We met her husband.
Yeah.
So it was
lovely
pretty
couple,
cool.
full stop. So I'm like, and that's what we're like. Oh, how can we get the beers from Quasar? It's going to be brewed out of Echo, and I was like, well, yay! It's someone I can support that I know.
So we're actually brewing it here in Pittsburgh. So we collaborated with a local husband and wife brewery here, and we just brewed it a couple weeks ago. And so the end of March, we're actually shutting down part of our street in front of our office and having a block party to release the beer. We're having bands play and food trucks and stuff. So we're pretty excited about that.
That's going to be super cool. So if you're listening and you are we do have some people that are in the US, some people that are actually probably can get to Pittsburgh. Joe, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm fairly certain there are some people that could get there.
Carrie and Wes live in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, I'm fairly certain they live over there. I didn't want to say in Pittsburgh. I wanted to say,
if you're listening,
they'll be listening. And they'll be listening.
Yeah,
so Road in Pittsburgh.
So I think, I was going to say there's at least a few people that I know that could probably realistically get there.
We brewed a Pilsner. So a Pilsner with the sorghum, sweet potato, corn, and we did hibiscus for coloring. So it'll be a little bit of a pink looking.
God, that'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we need Carrie and West to go as our proxy.
Yes, please do. Have them reach out to me, and I'll make sure they have like a special like little thing.
tell them. I'll get onto her in a minute.
They need to go as our proxy
because
because we can't be there. So that's and it sounds amazing. So it'll be super fun. But
awesome.
yeah,
we're calling it burning lips, just because of the whole, one, because of the color, the pinkish color, lips color, but women not being able to always speak up and speak out, and so like you're feeling like your lips are like on fire because you just can't say all of the things you want to say because of the male dominant world. So we're doing that. So pretty excited about that. I thought it was perfect because of the Quasar stuff, but also March is International Women's Month.
Yes.
So it was perfect.
That name is amazing. Like I absolutely love the name. It's so good.
Perfect.
But yay.
So excited. Usually I don't come up with the names of things. Usually my husband comes up with all the names of things we do. And this one was all me. So I was like, yes.
It's a good name. It's a really good name. I really like it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned that you ship like with these boxes, like you're shipping them globally. Like, so if there's people that want the normal boxes and not necessarily just the Quasar one or anything, can they order if they're outside the US from you? Just to be clear for everybody, they can order if you're outside the US because you can ship stuff that's not beer outside.
We currently ship to 7 different countries. So you have the US, Canada, we've shipped to Ireland, New Zealand, Brazil, and just recently Peru. And then with the Quasar campaign, probably hitting at least another 10 to 15 other countries. So that opens the doors for us as well. So wherever you are, you can get our stuff.
Amazing.
Shipping is on you guys though, because I
imagine it's
a little bit.
I will say it's worth it if you were to if you're someone from a different country and it's worth it to get like a 3-month subscription, because what we'll do is, because shipping costs so much, what we'll do is we'll give you all 3 boxes in one, so you're not paying multiple months of shipping. It just makes it easier. On you and us. So
that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So I think that's probably a struggle. So like, do you do are your options like, can you do just a one-off and then so
you can do a 1 month
monthly, or
you can do a one-off, just one and done. You could do every month, kind of just goes until you're like, hey, I'm done. We do a 3 months, 6 months, and a whole year. Obviously, if you do a 3, 6, or a whole year, there's a little bit of a discount added into that. We've had some subscribers that have been with us for 4 or 5 years. And then, we get a lot. Father's Day and Christmas are our 2 biggest times of the year. So we get slammed with those months. But I mean, things are going good, and just loving it. I've been working on the business. April will be a full year, full time for me, since I left my job. So I'm pretty pumped about that. So a lot of stuff has happened since April. It's been crazy. Like, we got a building, we got employees, we started First Sip Studios, and I was like, oh.
Amazing though. Early congratulations. That is not far off from when we're recording this. So
yeah.
And this episode, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, is going to be coming out basically the day before International Women's Collaboration Brew Day. So
awesome.
This is basically going to be our International Women's Day week episode. So
it's going to kick off our
felt
Women's
perfect.
History Month. Releases.
Do you guys have like pink boots and stuff out your way?
No, we don't have pink boots in the UK. I know it's mad, right?
Why not?
I've said this so many times. It's like we've had this conversation with lots and lots of different people.
There are
I think it's
chapters in the UK.
There's no chapters. I know that there's breweries that brew in collaboration with Pink Boots. So like we've said it before on the podcast, basically. Like Full Circle does their yearly International Women's Collaboration Brew Day, and they do that in collaboration with Pink Boots. They use like the Pink Boots blend and everything. But we don't actually have a chapter over here, and it's something that I've expressed.
What's keeping you guys from starting one?
Because we're not technically in the beer industry.
I don't know if we technically can. This is in our day, our day jobs are not in beer as such. Hopefully we'll see a Pink Boots at some point. We just don't have it at the moment, unfortunately. But I guess like that kind of segued what you'd said before, sort of segued in very nicely to sort of what my next question would have been, which is, what's next for First Sip Box? What should we look out for? What do you want to achieve in the next year or the next 2 years?
It's a very good question. So we're looking to continue to grow our team. We have 4 awesome team members right now. We have a couple interns, and we work really closely with the University of Pittsburgh. So we get interns regularly. and they've all been phenomenal. As far as growing, as you know, we're continuing to work on First Sip Studios and growing that, but also like the B2B side of our brew box. So we do a lot of like corporate gifting and client gifting type stuff. So I know that we want that to grow even more. What else? Maybe for me personally, I'd love to have 2023 all planned out with every brewery feature. That would be like a dream come true.
Yes,
I feel like every time I start to get it all done, like a pandemic happens or
something happens.
Something happens. Yeah.
Happens.
To be fair, a full year planned out as well. Like that would be, I feel like I wouldn't downplay that. That would be an amazing accomplishment.
It really would.
It probably
It really
sounds
would.
like it probably, for someone that doesn't realize how much planning goes in, like we have to sort of plan out podcasts and we only do it like a month or so in advance. I can't imagine if we were trying to plan next year's out. I would be like, oh, that's so much.
It would make my life so much easier.
Yeah.
But honestly, some long-term stuff, we're dabbling into creating a wine box as well, and maybe dabbling into some whiskey and bourbon boxes.
Nice.
And then we're also looking into some tourism stuff. So where, you know, tourism bureaus in certain parts of the country, they, in like brewery guilds and stuff, that they have a one-off box which represents like that area. So we're currently working with, I think Phoenix, Arizona, and Asheville, and just all of North Carolina in general, to create these unique boxes for their area, featuring breweries from their area, giving, you know, people who want the boxes ideas of where to go, who to see, what to do. So that's a cool project that our team's working on, is getting some cool areas and, you know, that first sip experience, you know, in specific parts of the country, which is pretty cool. Also long term, we want to take over the world. So, you know, one country at a time, First Sip Brew Box wants to be there.
Well, that's it. You can do the different boxes. You can do different boxes for different regions of like different places in the world that you want to go.
So fun.
That's the ultimate goal and plan, is, you know, have a brew box section in India and Japan and, you know, all over that people can get and use and try cool stuff. So that's the, you know, probably like 5-year, 10-year goal, but you know, start in the US.
It's like got to start somewhere, but that is like it's great that that's your ambition, and like as amazing. You said, if anyone's interested in getting involved in that, we'll obviously put the link to all your stuff and they can reach out.
Awesome.
So you mentioned about Father's Day being like one of the biggest times. Like I feel like, can we all just agree, 3 ladies on here, we need to make Mother's Day a bigger thing for this. No, I'm not suggesting that you've not tried, but I'm saying we as a community can make it clear. Like, I don't want, you know, for like, you know, Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, I don't want flowers. I don't want chocolates. I want chocolate stouts.
I want beer.
I want floral beer. I want nice products.
I still want the chocolates. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you're talking to someone who loves chocolate.
I mean, you can get chocolate and beer.
Beer chocolate.
Them together.
I want beer chocolates.
I do. I have. Look at this. I have a beer chocolate. They're Belgian chocolates.
Oh, amazing. Yes.
I'm like, I don't want to dabble into them because when they're gone, they're gone.
They're gone. I'm that same way. I hold on to stuff because I'm like, oh, once I have it, it's gone. Right? And then it goes off and I'm like,
and then I can't enjoy it anymore.
Yeah.
No, we tried doing a Mother's Day box one year. And we had like beer soaps and candles and lotions in it, but likes Father's Day.
It's just that's like the easy go-to, isn't it? As well. I was like, Father's Day.
Well, because when people think beer, I mean, I hate to say this, people think beer, they think men, and it sucks. Still do, but you know, I'm sure if we did a wine box for Mother's Day, it would happen.
Right? You know? We need to. We're going to change this narrative. We're going to change the narrative.
It needs to be changed.
Yeah. But also, people like wine. That's cool too. But we're going to change the narrative.
Men like wine too.
They do. They absolutely do. Yeah. Stupid stigmas.
Yes.
We're going to tackle this. Don't worry.
Oh my goodness. All right, I think that's all of our questions.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've just looked at the time and we don't want to keep you that much longer.
You're doing really well.
You're good. It keeps me from doing any work.
Is there anything that you want to plug or to get people to look at?
Your socials, websites, anything else?
They find
We'll tag it in the notes anyways, but
I guess, yeah, you can follow us on, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok, LinkedIn, all at First Sip Brew Box. And you can also follow First Sip Studios on Instagram and Facebook as well. Just started those guys, so yay.
Amazing.
I'm the person who does all the social media, so it's exhausting.
Yeah,
but please go follow us.
That's like when we do, that's what we do the end of our episode, and like we're like, oh Jo, where can people find you? And then she has the big list.
I have a list of all the places. Very similar to your list.
It's a lot. Oh, and YouTube. And we're on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube. Yes, YouTube. There we go. There we go.
Husband will kill me on that one because that's where he puts all his video content he does.
We will link to all of it. We'll make sure everybody can find it.
Awesome.
All right. It's been lovely chatting to you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And we'll have
to a good time.
And we'll have to be ordering some merchandise soon. Okay, so I need to go and order a box now.
Yeah, I need to go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I need to go and order. It's funny though, because I can relate to her husband is like, can I just drive somewhere? Like, I don't like flying.
I don't mind
either.
flying, so
I hate
jump on that plane.
So I completely get it about the travel situation. Saying that though, I do now. I want to go to Pittsburgh. So
this is the problem with the episodes that we do. They make us want to travel to all the places and drink all the beers.
I think
all the things.
My mum likes to likes the idea of like, my mum likes to support me in what I'm doing, but I'm very confident that she's probably not going to, if she does listen, she's not going to make it to this point. If she does, I'll hear about it because she'll message me. But sorry in advance, Mum, even though you're not going to hear this, because I'm probably going to order a box to you. So
I need Tori's mum, I'm going to be ordering a box too. Thanks, Tori's mum.
Mum, thanks. You don't have to send them this time. We can wait.
We'll wait. We can wait for them. I'm patient.
Yeah, I want one of those Quasar shirts though, for sure. So
we've been talking about Quasar. Do you know what? We need to get Jessie on because I've talked about Quasar so often. I just need to message her and get her on the podcast. Watch this space, people.
Oh God, don't. I feel like now you're going to jinx it. And she'll be like, nah.
No. We just got to work out like Rwandan time zones.
Oh God, it's hard enough going like it's hard enough going like a few hours difference. Yeah, but exciting. There's so much I want to learn about that as well. But anyways, I'm excited to order this box. I want to get this box. Actually, I'm probably going to look at it like right after we stop recording.
Yep. I think this was an excellent first episode for Women's History Month.
Kicking off Women's History Month. Happy Women's Collaboration Brew Day, wherever you are. We're going to be in Sheffield.
Tuesday. So watch the socials, mine and Tori's, and probably a Women's Brew as well.
If you're listening to this on the day it's released, and you're in Sheffield,
tomorrow,
you might find us.
You might see us.
Don't be weird. Just say hi in a non-weird way.
Hi. They do in Sheffield though. We're not in the south, we're in the north. They will come up and say hello to us.
And
we will say hello back.
And it's not weird. Everyone's really nice. So
And we're basically, I think our plan for this month is that we are going to try and highlight women in various parts of the industry this month for you. So look out for that this month of March.
Even if it's not various parts, we're just going to have lots of like female-based dialogue this month. So hopefully hold us to it, because hopefully we managed to meet that.
Make us accountable.
If we don't, it's only because something fell through and we couldn't do it. But at the moment, we're very confident it's going to happen. So hopefully you enjoy the next few weeks of some really great content for Women's History Month. Yeah,
I'm excited. All right. So, Tori, if people want to ask you if they can send stuff to your mum's address, where can they get hold of you?
Tell them no. Really joke.
Tell them no.
Giving you my mum's address.
Tell them no, because only I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah. Well, if I mean, it's not going to happen, so you probably shouldn't bother. But if you want to get rejected, you can find me on Instagram at adventures_in_optimism. Jo, I can't even top that. You've caught me completely off guard.
It's a good one, wasn't it? I like that. It was good.
That was a really good one. I'll give you credit for that. Thanks. Where can people talk to you about anything that's not my mum's address?
You can talk to
I'm
me
sorry,
about
Mum. I really
anything.
hope you're not listening to this.
You can talk to me about anything that isn't Tori's mum's address because I won't give it to you.
She's not going to give it to you, people.
That is my privilege and my privilege
She'll get cut
alone.
off.
Yeah,
She will get cut off.
I won't be able to send my stuff there, so it's not going to happen. You can come and talk to me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for my account that is A Woman's Brew. That's pretty much for this podcast now. So you've got podcast questions. Head on over to the A Woman's Brew account. But if you would like to learn about beer with me, you can find me on my Love Beer Learning account. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, all of the places, pretty much everywhere that First Sip Brew Box is as well, other than LinkedIn, because, you know, I don't think the beer people are on LinkedIn the way that they need to be for what I produce. But anyway, come and talk to me there about beer. We also have a website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk. We also have an email address, which is lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. We're currently taking emails there for the podcast.
But watch this space.
It's maybe changing
maybe
soon.
Changing. Maybe not. I don't know.
It's up. Might do. Otherwise, email us there. Any ideas?
Keep emailing.
Yep. Just let us know. What do you want to hear about? Who do you want us to talk to? Let us know. And
well, I'm going to go finish enjoying your homebrew that you supplied me with, so I can give you your bottle back. So,
on that note, cheers.